One bullet left rain hammered the jungle like machine gun fire. Thunder rolled across the mountains near the Mexico-U.S. border. A black military helicopter flew low through the storm. Inside sat Sergeant Daniel Cross, former U.S. Army Ranger, gripping his rifle tightly while staring at the glowing map on his wrist. "A target village is 2 miles ahead," the pilot shouted. Daniel nodded silently. This mission was supposed to be simple. Rescue 2 kidnapped American journalists, extract before sunrise. But nobody knew the cartel waiting below had built a private army. The helicopter landed near an abandoned church deep inside the jungle. Daniel stepped into thick mud with 4 other soldiers. Captain Reyes whispered, "Stay quiet. Cartel scouts everywhere." Night vision goggles turned the darkness green. The team moved carefully through trees dripping with rainwater. Suddenly, a laser sight appeared on one soldier's chest. "A sniper!" Daniel yelled. Boom! Gunfire exploded from every direction. Bullets ripped through trees. The jungle became chaos. The soldiers fired back while diving for cover. Daniel spotted cartel gunmen surrounding them from the hills. Dozens of them. "Maybe more coming," someone shouted. An RPG screamed through the air. The explosion flipped their armored vehicle into flames. Flames. Captain Reyes grabbed the radio. "Ain't no extraction possible. We're trapped." Another burst of gunfire hit him in the chest. He collapsed instantly. Daniel dragged the captain behind a rock, but it was too late. The team was falling apart. One soldier was wounded. Another disappeared into the darkness. Then the radio crackled with a terrifying message. "A cartel reinforcements arriving. Estimated 50 fighters." Daniel looked around. There were only 3 men left, against an army. Far away, hidden inside an old warehouse, the kidnapped journalists heard the gunfire echoing through the jungle. Shungo. One of them, Emily Carter, whispered, "Someone came for us." A cartel guard laughed. "And nobody leaves here alive?" Back in the jungle, Daniel checked his ammunition. Almost empty. Rain poured harder. The wounded soldier groaned in pain beside him. "You can't hold them," he said weakly. "Winnie," he said weakly. Daniel looked toward the distant warehouse lights. "That's where the hostages are." The soldier stared at him. "You still going?" Daniel loaded his final magazine. "We didn't come this far to quit." The surviving soldiers created a diversion while Daniel moved through the jungle alone. Cartel trucks roared down muddy roads. Headlights cut through the rain. Armed men searched everywhere. Daniel crawled through wet dirt beneath a bridge while enemy boots stomped inches above him. His breathing slowed, controlled, focused. Years of training. He reached the warehouse perimeter. At least 20 cartel guards, heavy weapons, watchtowers, no way in. Then he noticed fuel barrels stacked near the entrance. An idea formed. Daniel pulled out his final grenade. Please work," he muttered. He threw it. Boom! The explosion lit the night sky. Fire spread instantly. Guards screamed in confusion. Daniel sprinted through the smoke, silently taking down 2 gunmen before entering the warehouse. Inside, terrified prisoners were tied to metal chairs. Emily looked up in shock. "We're American." Daniel cut their ropes quickly. No time. "Move!" Gunfire erupted outside Nixie. The cartel realized someone had breached the compound. Daniel handed a pistol to the second journalist. Can you shoot?" The man nodded nervously. Good. Stay close." They escaped through the back door into the jungle. But trucks surrounded the area fast. Searchlights scanned the trees. Dogs barked violently. The cartel boss stepped out from a black SUV, Miguel Rivera. Former Special Forces soldier turned cartel commander. Cold eyes. No mercy. Rivera smiled while holding a shotgun. "Well, Americans always think you're heroes." Daniel pushed the journalist behind rocks. Rivera raised his hand. Hundreds of cartel fighters emerged from the darkness. Some carried military rifles. Others carried machine guns. The journalist froze in fear. Daniel checked his rifle. Only 1 bullet left. 1. The second journalist whispered, "We're dead." Daniel stayed calm. No. "Not tonight. Rain mixed with blood and mud." Rivera ordered his men forward. Gunfire exploded again. Daniel stole weapons from fallen enemies while moving through the jungle like a ghost. Fast. Precise. Every shot mattered. Cartel fighters fell one by one. The journalist followed desperately behind him. But the enemy numbers kept growing. Then disaster struck. A bullet hit Daniel in the shoulder. He slammed against a tree in pain. Emily grabbed him. "You need help." Daniel clenched his teeth. "You keep moving." The cartel closed in from every side. Flashlights bounced through the darkness. Dogs barked closer. The sound of engines surrounded them. There was nowhere left to run. They reached an old suspension bridge hanging over a raging river. Half the wooden boards were broken. Emily looked terrified. "It'll collapse." Daniel glanced behind them. Cartel vehicles approaching fast. No choice. They crossed carefully while bullets shattered ropes around them. The bridge swung violently in the storm. One journalist nearly fell into the river below. Daniel grabbed him just in time. Rivera stepped onto the bridge entrance with his men. "You cannot escape me." Daniel pushed the journalist toward the other side. "A run!" The cartel opened fire. Bullets ripped through the bridge cables. Wood exploded everywhere. Daniel returned fire while backing away slowly. Then, click, empty, empty, empty. No bullets left except one hidden in his pocket, the final bullet. Rivera smiled confidently and walked forward. "You lost, soldier." Daniel loaded the single round slowly. Rain dripped from his face. Everything became silent. One bullet, one chance. Rivera raised his shotgun. Daniel aimed carefully, steady breathing, heartbeat slowing. Boom! The bullet struck a metal support cable above Rivera. The damaged cable snapped instantly. The entire bridge collapsed beneath the cartel fighters. Rivera's eyes widened in horror as he fell into the roaring river below with dozens of armed men. Massive waves swallowed them into darkness. Silence returned to the jungle. Only rain remained. Hours later, a rescue helicopter finally appeared at sunrise. Daniel sat weakly against a rock, blood soaking his uniform. The journalists were alive beside him. Emily looked at him quietly. "You saved us." Daniel stared at the rising sun. "Oh no," he said softly. "We saved each other." The helicopter landed nearby. Medics rushed toward them. As Daniel stood up painfully, the pilot looked shocked. "You fought all night against that cartel army?" Daniel gave a tired smile, with one bullet left. Days later, news channels across America and the UK reported the mysterious rescue mission near the border, but many details stayed classified. No medals, no interviews, no fame, just another forgotten soldier returning home quietly. Meanwhile, deep inside the jungle river, a wounded hand suddenly grabbed a rock near the shore. Miguel Rivera slowly pulled himself from the water, alive, bleeding, angry, and somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled again.